This thing is irritating. All right, what's up, everybody? Let me make sure we are live. Good afternoon. Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid. As we go into what are we in? Week 8, right? Week 8 for the Detroit Lions. Spike Kool-Aid. Where am I at? Let me start over. Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for October the 27th, 2023, going into week 8. Sorry, I'm late. I was running my mouth doing something else. It's been a tough week. Let me just say this. I apologize to everybody this week. I've been a little chippy this week. I've had the loss still hurts. I hate it. Been debating about Jameson Williams and his future, but more than that, it is the sheer relentlessness of Ravens fans who have been driving me crazy this week. So this week has been kind of like a bad taste in my mouth, and I hope to get that out come Monday, because we should handle the Raiders, but we got to have a conversation, man. All right, so shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me pop the chat out. Thank you guys for coming to the show. Got some little bit to talk about, man. Not too much on the Detroit Lions. I think today, I don't know if Dan Campbell gets in front of the media today, but I know some people got in front of the media, some of the things, some of the coaches and such. And you know, I want to start off this by saying that we are all fans of the same team. We want the same thing. And I think it's dumb how we fight among each other about our opinions. I think it makes things interesting, but I think there is a line that you can cross and you can go too far. All right. I've been a Lions fan, I guess you could say like 35 years. I was born in the city of Detroit. It was St. Joseph Hospital, which is no longer around. They knocked it down sometime in the 80s. I have lived in Detroit for the majority of my life. I've never resided outside of the state of Michigan, and currently I live just outside the city of Detroit. When I say just outside, I would say about 15 miles or so. There's a couple cities, Garden City, Dearborn Heights, but my mom still lives in Detroit. The house I grew up in is still in Detroit, right? In Detroit. Not too far from, I went to Mackenzie High School, which is no longer there. They knocked that down probably about 10, 15 years ago. So this city is very special to me. Very special to me. This team is special as well. And they got a lot on their shoulders, and I understand that. But us fighting and we wanting the same thing is dumb to me. I look at this as therapy, right? We're having respectful conversations between each other. And one thing that I do as a content creator is I would really, really like you to listen to what I have to say. Okay. And instead of, a lot of people will judge the video based off the thumbnail and or title, but you don't actually listen to the video. So with that being said, we have to get immediately into this conversation. But before we do that, let me shout out everybody. What's up, Dave, Win, Eduardo, bro, Win, you've been here almost every single show. Ryan, Gaddy, Josh, Fresh and Fly, Bonzilla. What's up, everybody? Oh crap, you're local to me. I can't be Miles. But Ryan, I don't live there anymore, but I'm not that far. I'll put it like this. Ford Road and 75 is about 5 miles from me. So yeah, I live very close to that. So we're probably all local. I have been recognized maybe once or twice. So it's been cool and weird at the same time. Like I'm out and people like, you got a YouTube channel. When I went to Kansas City, people recognized me, which was super duper cool, man. I sat close to a few Lions fans that they recognized me. It's kind of cool. Shout out to everybody that came to the watch party, wanted pictures. And it's kind of weird because you're like a mini celebrity, but it's weird at the same time. I mean, I got like 15,000 people, but that's how close knit the Detroit Lions community is that we can't get enough. So we watch everybody. You guys watch me. You watch other content creators. We got an up and coming creator as well. Rocked On Lions Podcast Network. Will over there, him and I have been chopping it up for the past few weeks. He's a good dude over there. He's up and coming as well. I think he just hit 1,000 subscribers. So we're all close knit in this community. What's up, Ryan? What's going on? Not local from Flint, Northern Michigan. Hi, I'm a Detroit fan from New Orleans, Louisiana. What's up, the great one, Mike? What's going on? Originally went to Clear Shores before moving up north. That's crazy, bro. Just a little brief. I went to Coolidge Elementary, then I went to Ann Arbor Trail Middle School, and then I went to Mackenzie and what Votech did I went to Randolph for a little, like my senior year. So anyway, now that we got the past out the way, let's have a conversation. Okay, so this topic has been super debatable. I mean, like, we are at each other's throats about this topic, and I think that both sides have some points. It's kind of like everybody wants to be right, but there's only one right answer, right? And neither one of us have that answer. Who am I referring to? I'm talking about Jameson Williams. He's on the thumbnail. He's in the title. And I don't want to make this whole show about Jameson Williams, but I have seen videos around the internet that Ben Johnson is not using Jameson Williams right. And I think that there is a little bit of an argument in that concept. And the reason I say that is because, are you going to throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown deep? You're not. That's not his game, right? So you're going to put St. Brown in a position that is comfortable for him, that you know he can make plays. I have not yet seen St. Brown catch a deep pass. You can count on Khalif Raymond. You can count on Josh Reynolds, but that's just not what St. Brown does, right? And we talked about it in the preseason and the offseason as training camp was coming up, that he wants to get deep more. But Ben Johnson apparently hasn't caught any of those plays. And if he has, then St. Brown hasn't been targeted, right? So why does that go to Jameson Williams? He's not using Jameson Williams right, okay? But that could be true. But I think we're putting blame on Ben Johnson when you have to realize that this is a game of trust and timing. This is a game that can come down to one play. And if you are called upon and you can't make a catch or you can't be trusted, you will not, your targets are going to get fewer and fewer and fewer, right? So Ben Johnson today said that a rapport needs to develop between Jameson Williams and Jared Goff, that it's going to take time. And time, ladies and gentlemen, is the one thing that none of us can get back and that Jameson Williams does not have. He does not have time. He has 27 games for the Detroit Lions to decide whether or not they're going to pick up his fifth-year option. Before you know it, we'll be in the playoffs. Before you know it, the Super Bowl will pass. And before you know it, the draft will be here in Detroit. And at that point, what are we going to be saying then? This is the National Football League. It's the place you don't have time in. You just don't. Now, I'm not saying his career is over. I'm not saying he can't turn it around. Look at Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs. They didn't pick up his fifth-year option. He balled out. Chase Young, another person. They didn't pick up his fifth-year option. He has 5 sacks on the season in 5 or 6 games, right? So time is something. I don't make the rules. I don't set them. I just talk about them. And I was having a conversation about this with my fellas off air, and we were talking about that in the game, Ben Johnson needs to get Jameson Williams some reps. And that is true. But if you can't count on him in a situation to make the easiest catch, are you going to count on him when the game is on the line? If it's a 3rd and 11, are you going to throw well, it was a 3rd and 11. There's the best point. I forgot all about that. In the Tampa Bay game, it was a 3rd down and 11. And Jared Goff throws the worst pass I've seen him throw in a long time. And guess who caught it? Jameson Williams, right? That big playability. They trusted him. They went deep. He caught it. But a couple plays before that, he dropped it. Those are the plays that we want to keep seeing. All I'm saying is that we can't put it on Ben Johnson if you can't trust Jameson Williams, because the very next week he makes no catches. I don't remember. I have to go back and watch to see how many was in his vicinity, how many were catchable, how many. I know one hit him in the face. I know he couldn't find another one. I know in the end zone, he goes inside. Jared Goff throws out. That's 3 passes right there. Jameson Williams, the one thing he does not have is time. He's got 27 games to change the narrative that is following him around. And I swear, man, this guy right here, I would say Jared Goff is the most polarizing figure I've ever talked about on the internet when it comes to the Detroit Lions. Jameson Williams is a very close second. We want to believe in him. We want to see him do these things, but only he can do it. And if you cannot catch a pass that hits you in the hands in 10 yards, you're not going to get plays called to you. They took a chance on that 3rd down and 11. They took a chance and it paid off. It did. We've seen Jameson. The problem with J-Mo is consistency. That's the problem. But we act like we don't see it. We act like, oh, we just need to give him time. Okay, well, then that 27 games is going to turn to 26. Then it's going to turn into 17. And let me remind you that next year, next year is his year. Next year is the year that he gets to prove whether he's worth year 5 or not. Okay? That's all I'm saying about J-Mo. I know this about J-Mo, but Derek, remember how mad you were about the Ravens game? I'm starting to get that way about Brad Holmes. We don't trade. I'm going to be mad. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. J-Mo has like what, 3-4 games total. He needs no. Jameson Williams has 10. He has played 10 games. He's played 9. Do y'all not remember last year, or are we just not talking about last year? What are we doing? Jameson Williams has played 9 games. Also, he's had a full offseason, something he didn't have last year. Do y'all not remember about last season? Are we going to forget about last season? I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing here? I wish we would wait to the end of the season before starting over the React J-Mo. If you can't even get 500 by the end of the year, then we can have a discussion. That's not a bad point. Justin says he is 4 of 12 on balls thrown to him. How many QBs are throwing to a receiver who has a 33% catch rate? On top of that, Justin, he also, and some of them might not have been his fault. I'll say that. Some of them, Jared Goff threw some bad balls. Even the one he caught over his shoulder for the game-changing touchdown was a really, really bad ball. It was terrible. It wobbled all the way there, and he still made the catch. But he's had time, and he has to be able to be trusted. Jared Goff can trust St. Brown. You remember the time that we were talking about that St. Brown didn't have his first TD catch was our game-winning catch to walk off against the Minnesota Vikings 2 years ago. That was his first TD pass. And ever since then, St. Brown has been a mainstay, the game changer on this team. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody can do what they want to do. All right. I think it's too early to call him a bust. I am saying that he is trending bust because that's just the reality of the situation. He's trending bust. Whether it's his fault or not, that's just how the NFL works. But one thing we can't keep saying is that we're not using him right. He is supposed to be the best receiver we've ever seen, right? Like, seriously, we traded up to get this guy. We're not using him right. Okay, a couple end arounds. If he's thrown the football, it hits him in the hands, he's got to catch it. It hits him in the breadbasket, he's got to catch it. Have you ever thought about, wasn't Jameson Williams a punt returner in college? Didn't he punt? Didn't he return punt sometimes? I don't know, y'all. Yes, could Ben Johnson scheme up some more plays for him? Yes. But when you're a player, and this is another thing too. This is another thing, and we'll wrap up the segment with this point, right? We talk about, well, you're not using him right. This is the NFL. This is not college football. Everybody on this team is great, not great at what they do, but you get what I'm saying. Half college players, more than half of college players probably don't make the team. I believe that Malik Willis, who's terrible, by the way, was the only person from Liberty drafted. He was taken in the 3rd round. You are playing guys who made the NFL. This isn't a college team where you have somebody going to be a doctor or a veterinarian. You have NFL players. All of these players are in the NFL. Okay? Sometimes it doesn't translate. I'm not saying it can't be like that for J-Mo. I'm just saying it seems as though we want to blame everybody but him when he shoulders some blame as well. Right? Jared Goff shoulders blame. Ben Johnson shoulders blame. But at the very end of the day, if you are a NFL player who catches balls, you need to catch balls. That's just the bottom line. If you are going to throw on a game-winning play, it's probably not going to go to Jameson Williams unless they got 4 people on St. Brown. Then you're going to be like, well, I guess I got to throw it to J-Mo, right? Which we've seen he can do it. But this topic, man, it's like it will divide Lions fans when at the end of the day, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It all depends on Jameson Williams and what we do. You can't scheme for somebody you can't trust. That's it. That's how that goes. So let me know what you think, man. Where you stand on J-Mo. St. Brown deservingly so. He has the same amount of targets in 2 games versus the young man's career. J-Mo has 11 games to prove himself this year, period. I think, you know what? Hey, Carl, I think it's 10, bro. I think we've played 7. He also has an attitude that goes against the type of locker room Coach Campbell wants. There's no chemistry between J-Mo and Goff. The first 2 things, he got 10 games, and the latter part, the second part, I don't know. I don't know him as a, I just know what I see. I know he's got the confidence. He doesn't lack that, but he has to also follow through. We missed when he missed most of camp this year. Okay, Justin. Jameson Williams did not miss most of camp this year. How did he miss? Somebody remind me. When did he miss? When did he miss camp? The last guy with speed to pan out for real was Tyreek Hill, Chris Jones, and Reggie Bush. The offense coordinators mustn't treat J-Mo like delicate glass, give him punt returns. Bill Branch, I agree. How would y'all feel about that? How would y'all feel if they start letting Jameson Williams return punts? How would y'all feel? I would love to see that. I would love to see that. That would be a good change of pace too. J-Mo is trade bait at the 24 deadline. Book it. What's up, Josh? What's going on, man? If the game is on the line and St. Brown isn't open, my next option is Laporta. I would go Reynolds, Raymond, Laporta, J-Mo, and then Gibbs. That's probably what I would do. I've defended him enough. Dude needs to do something already. He has 2 drops this year. He has 10 more games to clean it up. Goff has to also throw him some good passes. Goff also needs to get an offensive line who is non-existent. The Ravens made sure that he didn't have no nice balls thrown his way. But yes, I agree about that as well. J-Mo needs to step up, plain and simple. Development. Now, you know what? Let's have this conversation. We just had a conversation about Jameson Williams, right? And this is what the NFL needs that they don't have. And at this point, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Is it riskier? Yes, it is. But it's also, it might be even better for those guys like Jameson Williams. What is the one thing the NFL doesn't have that a lot of other leagues have? Baseball has it. Basketball has it. I'm sure hockey has it as well. I don't watch hockey, but I'm sure they have it. A development league. When you get drafted to the best sport in the world, right? Super Bowl pulls in more than any other show every single year. 200 plus 30 million people tune in. You got to be on your A game. The NFL needs a developmental league. I wouldn't have been opposed to Jameson Williams being in one of those. When you come out, you are tasked to perform. That's it. And we talked about his development. Somebody mentioned in the comment section, development. Well, you can't develop in a live NFL game where every single game counts. You just can't. And if you do, you have to do it quickly. Look at Jamar Chase. I remember him dropping all types of balls. He still does it sometimes. He had a rough start to this year. But one thing you can count on is he going to turn it up. And turn it up he did. Just like that. Jamar Chase turns it on, and when he turns it on, he can't be stopped. But Ben Johnson said it today. He said some people take longer to develop a rapport. And obviously that's what we're seeing with Jared Goff. Now, would Jared Goff be able to develop a rapport with Jameson Williams if Jameson Williams was in the developmental league? No. Would it be a risk of him getting hurt? Yes, it would. It really would, and that would suck. But at the same time, I would prefer somebody to have the opportunity to develop in like a real game. And you're talking about, is it as good as the NFL would be? No, because you got players who obviously didn't make the NFL roster or something like that. So, but it would be something. And then when Jameson came back, this guy went from playing in college to not playing for a year to playing 6 games to having a full offseason, being suspended, popping a hamstring, coming back. And now the season's halfway over, right? So I wouldn't mind that for a fact. Stafford would love to chuck it to J-Mo. J-Mo running too many routes. Stafford would definitely love J-Mo for sure. You mean like you suck football league? No, not a you suck, but development, time to develop. I mean, here it is that this has been Jameson Williams offseason. And this is a rare time that you're going to see me kind of defend him, okay? He's had an offseason, but what really is the offseason? Conditioning. You're playing against your own players. Training camp is all about own players. Then you're not running full speed. Then you go to the preseason. He played game 1. I can't remember how he did. Game 2 is when he popped a hammy. Game 3. The NFL has already taken away a preseason game in favor of a regular season game. So that's only 3 games of semi-real paced football, right? How fast would you say they're going in preseason? Other than dudes trying to make the team. And if you're the Detroit Lions, you're not playing any of your starters, right? So you got guys like J-Mo out there. And let's say they're playing at 75, 80% of what they would do if the game counted in the win-loss. And then he comes in, he's suspended for 4 games. His first real reps was 3 games ago. But my philosophy is you were drafted to do a job that you did for years before that. Very well, I might add. And that's play football at wide receiver. But I wouldn't be opposed to a developmental league as well. The only risk for me would be the risk of getting hurt. J-Mo was shut down August 17th after he pulled his hammy and was after the first preseason game against the Giants. Too much risk of a player getting hurt. J-Mo to the XFL, sound like the XFL. Now we're laughing at the XFL. We're laughing at the XFL. But the XFL is critical. There are many players that come from the XFL. What's the dude name? Turpin for the Dallas Cowboys. Dude was a punt returner in the XFL. So we can't just dismiss the XFL or USFL like it. AJ McCarron. AJ McCarron was balling in the XFL, decided to come back to the NFL, and is now on a roster. So we can't like discount the XFL. And by the way, the XFL is a spot that they are working with the NFL. That's what they're doing. They got a partnership with the NFL because the NFL is one of the only major sport in America that does not have a developmental league. Now, it could be because of the risk of injury. It really could be the unfortunate risk of a season-ending injury, and that would be something tough to deal with. But it's like that in the preseason. Jameson Williams had 3 games to get hurt. We've seen people laid out in the preseason and miss an entire season. That comes with the game. I don't know. To me, it's risk versus reward. Is the risk of Jameson Williams getting injured substantially, is it enough to not have him develop in a potential developmental league? I'm just saying. I don't know. I mean, how many games would you play? Would it be a full season? Would it be 5 or 6 games? I wouldn't make it a full season. I mean, just think about it. The practice squad players don't even play. They don't even play during the games. They have 0 real game reps, but yet they come up and they perform, right? So I don't know, man. I wouldn't be opposed to it. It would be very risky, and that's probably why we'll never see it. But that's kind of what the XFL already is. I'm not saying send Jameson Williams to the XFL. What I'm saying is that it would be nice to give players a time to develop outside of the preseason because they don't have a lot. They don't have to, and we're throwing Jameson Williams in to develop, quote unquote, and he doesn't have time to. He does not have time to. So let me know what you think about the NFL and a developmental league. Walker for Cleveland was in the XFL. He sure was. I remember watching him in 2020. He was like the star of the XFL. He played for the Houston Roughnecks, and he was killing it. He was the reason, like, the Houston Roughnecks were the best team in the XFL, and he was their quarterback. Saul says golf is trash. Okay, hold on. Who said golf was trash? Wait a minute. Oh, Sauce. Oh, his comment is gone. Hey, Sauce, do me a favor, comment again, bro. Comment again, if you don't mind. Is there any word on Allen, Young, or Sweat? We need some pass defense. So right now, no, but I did want to talk about this. All right, so Brian Burns, I saw today. Hold on, let me pull up my Twitter. I want to pull up my Twitter so we can talk about this. I usually had this stuff pulled up, y'all. I'm sorry. But I hope everybody has a great weekend. Don't forget, we don't play until Monday. Excuse me. We will have a show Monday, and that show will probably be more about the Monday night games than anything else and what we want to see. Okay, let me see what happened here. Wow. CJ Gardner-Johnson was watching Lions practice from the sideline. Okay. All right. Be nice to have you back. Okay. Here we go. Here it is. Okay. Did he comment? Did Sauce comment? He didn't comment. Caught the block real quick. Did he get blocked? I'm driving up 16 hours for my first home game. 16 hours? Eduardo, where are you coming from, bro? Okay, Brian Burns or Chase Young. Show will be on Lions victory. Well, Brent, we don't play until Monday night, so we'll be talking about the lead up to the game. I heard Dan Miller say Brian Burns was off the trade table in an interview on Woodward Sports. Oh, you timed him out? Okay. Well, thank you, David. When he comes back, comment for me. Blow, you really banned me for saying golf was trash. I swear. Well, we didn't. Okay, first of all, get your stuff right. I didn't ban you. You got blocked. You got timed out. That's two different things. Ban is for you to disappear from the channel. Secondly, we're not going to take any of that stuff today. All right. So Biggs, who went to another account. Dang, I'm not even modded on my own channel because I was going to time you out for like 5 years, somewhere around there. Okay. We got other stuff to worry about. I value your opinion, but we're not going through this. I've been defending Jared Goff for the last 3 years. I will refuse to do it anymore. We're not even going to entertain the thought of that. Okay. I just don't understand people. If you don't like, okay, keep that same energy with Jameson Williams. Keep it, right? If you don't like Goff, that's one thing. But saying dumb things is a different thing. All right. So here's the deal. Burns, quote unquote, is off the table. But let me remind you. All right, so the Detroit Lions are in need of a pass rusher. They have the most, according to PFF, they have the most pressures in the league, yet they rank in the bottom third almost in sacks. That's a problem. Now, you might be like, well, Derek, sacks don't really matter. Yes, they do. Why do they matter? Turnovers can come from sacks. They can also come from pressures, but most of the time you get a nice little fumble, right? Scoop and score. Change of possession. They also lead to your loss of yardage, right? So if you have a 2nd down and 8, the quarterback gets sacked, loss of 6 yards. Now you have a 3rd down and 14. Now you get the tee off. Now you get the certain coverages you get to run. Okay. So the Detroit Lions, while having pressures, are fantastic. They need to get home. Bottom line, end of story. You can tell me we don't need a pass rush. You can tell me James Houston is coming back, but we don't know that, do we? And the trade deadline is passing on Tuesday, and we got to make a move. Don't forget that Brad Holmes, the argument that I'm hearing online is that Brad Holmes is out of his character to make a power move, okay? But do we really know that? This was the same guy that wanted Aaron Donald as part of the trade, not Jared Goff. He wanted Aaron Donald, okay? Which means, had we not taken Jared Goff, we would have taken a quarterback in the 2021 draft, the same draft that Justin Fields and Mac Jones and all them other guys came out, right? We took Penei Sewell. Taking Jared Goff allowed us to take Penei Sewell. Now, Brad Holmes, for the first time since he's been the general manager, the Detroit Lions sit in first place and have been in first place since what? The 2nd week, if I'm not mistaken, 2nd or 3rd week. But for the first time, they sit in first place. And it's been a lot of talk. What do we have? About 96 hours, somewhere around there before the trade deadline passes. And the Detroit Lions, maybe a little more than that. I think that's 4 days. We have like five days, I think. He got to make a decision, right? He has to make a decision. Now, who is he going to go after? My guess is it's going to be a pass rusher. I've already made a video on my other channel about who I think that pass rusher is going to be. Then Jonathan Allen came up. I said Chase Young. He came up. He wants out of Washington. Now we're hearing about Montez Sweat and possibly Kendall Fuller, right? But there's a guy that we've talked about from the very beginning. His name is Brian Burns. And I want you guys to tell me if you believe this or not. According to Ian Rappaport, this came out at 12:16, so it was about an hour and a half ago, says Panthers star edge rusher Brian Burns is not expected today because of an elbow injury that limited him yesterday. That's worth watching, though it's not related to anything trade. Wait, though it's not related to any trade anything. This is the part right here. Though it's not related to any trade anything. I think Ian could have worded that a little better. But the question that I have for you is, do you believe that Brian Burns is off the table? Do you believe that this report about him not playing on Sunday has to do with, him not playing or not practicing, him being limited? Do you think that has anything to do with a potential trade, even though Dan Miller said he was off the table? But let me remind you that every single player has a price. Every single player has a price. Now, here's why I could say that I agree that he's off the table. He's off the table because he's one of the strongest parts of their team. Okay? That's just it. He's off the table because they can franchise tag him. Whether he plays or not on that, that's something different. Why I think that means absolutely nothing as far as him not getting traded. A, everybody has a price. B, the Carolina Panthers, they gave up a lot to move up to get Bryce Young. They also passed on 2 first-round picks from the Los Angeles Rams for one Brian Burns, right? Now look at what they have to deal with. According to reports, there's been no movement between Burns' side and the Panther side. They did not extend him in the offseason, right? They can get some trade value for him as opposed to letting him walk away. So right now, you could trade Brian Burns to a Super Bowl contending team for a first-round pick. If you let him walk in free agency, you're not going to get that. The best you're going to get is a third-round compensatory pick. So do I believe that Brian Burns is off the table? What I think that means is we ain't got the right call yet. That's what I think. I guarantee you, somebody offered him 2 firsts right now for Brian Burns, they're going to take it. But why would you give 2 firsts from Brian Burns? See, the Carolina Panthers, they messed up. They had an opportunity to move on from them. Rams would have not had a first-round pick this year or next year. Next year or the year before that, or the year after that. I'm all over the place. This year was the end of the Jared Goff trade. Next year would have been Brian Burns. The year after that, 2025, would have been Brian Burns. It would have been 6 seasons that the LA Rams had not had a first-round pick. Now the Carolina Panthers are stuck. They're stuck with one or two things. They trade them, they franchise tag them, or they bring them back. That's it. So they got to decide in 96 hours or 120 hours, whatever it is, whether or not they're going to trade Brian Burns. I do not believe that he's not off the table. Remember, Carolina is trying to get a receiver, so they might move Burns if they get a receiver. Panthers screwed up big time. Indeed, they did. Okay, yes, Justin, I just read about that. Would we prefer Burns or Young? Both going to require money to sign, but Burns might be worth more. Didn't Bryce throw to J-Mo? He did. So what are you saying? Trade Jameson Williams? I trust Brad, but our biggest needs he struggles filling. Dave, you know what, man? I think that's a good point. I think you can trust somebody, but you can still have reservations at the same time. And I think Brad has earned our trust, but he's also given us a little, we pause a little bit like, come on, Brad, is that really the right thing? And there are some spots that he has completely whiffed on. That's facts. He's not the best when it comes to trading a wide receiver. Trinity Benson, Denzel Mims, those guys. Although that Mims trade worked out fine. It really did. So inevitably, we don't switch anything. What happened was the Jets got their pick back and the Lions got their pick back. Panthers screwed up twice. Trade. How about Yo-Yo just dropping? Appreciate it, bro. So here's the thing. Let me ask you, do you believe, based on Ian Rappaport's tweet, and that Brian Burns is off the table? Because I don't buy it. I don't buy anything that anyone is saying. Talk to me at 5 o'clock on Tuesday after the trade deadline passes. I don't buy it, y'all. I don't buy it at all. I mean, this is what they say. They're not going to tip their hand until they're not going to say, yeah, we're looking to trade. I mean, some teams do that. If you got a player like Chase Claypool, or who's another player that just got traded not too long ago, where people put it out, Frank Clark, they put that out. Like those type of guys, yeah, you'd throw that out. Yeah, you'd throw that out because you have every intention to cut them. right? Chase Claypool, he got traded. He was going to get cut if he didn't get traded. It was only a matter of time. But the Miami Dolphins wanted to ensure that they got him, so they traded. So that's why teams do that. They put it out, yeah, we're looking to trade because we will cut him. And if we trade him, you can have him. But if we cut him, he might go to anybody. So that's why they do that. So I don't think this is for sure. I saw a question, Brad Holmes always, but I always get surprised by the end of the day. Hopefully everything works out. I think Burns is off the table. Wicks, he could be. And if the Carolina Panthers don't trade Brian Burns, that might be the second dumbest decision they've made, because the first one was not to. Here's the thing. If you're the Carolina Panthers, right? You get offered 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns. You say no. Then he tells you he wants an extension in his last year. You say no. Because their new owner, he's not the smartest dude in the shed when it comes to the NFL and how to manage this team. So now Brian Burns is essentially a 10-game rental at this point. Okay? And you have the choice to extend him, tag him, or let him walk. So I don't think he's off the table at all. I think, hey, if you Ed, that's a good question. I'll leave it up to y'all. If I do, it will be on Detroit Lions Syndicate that I'll do that. But I'll put out a community post, because what the plan was to basically stay home all day. I'm going to be glued to my computer. My phone's going to be in my hand. I got 2 things to do. Pick my son up from school, drop him off. That's it. And hopefully nothing happens during that time. But the goal was to make a video. And then after I make that video, then I'm going to go live directly after that. So yes, we will be probably having a show. Yes. Yep. Kev got traded to the Eagles. Let's see who plays on Sunday. Yes. I agree with that 100%. That is going to be maybe a tip-off point to who's getting traded. Now, I saw Mike Evans yesterday, and I was like, does Mike Evans playing yesterday mean that the Bucs are not going to trade him? That's a good, we haven't talked about Mike Evans in a minute, and the Bucs now are 3-4. They have not won a game since the Lions beat them. They were 3-1. They've now lost 3 in a row, and they've lost 3 in the span of like 11 days, man. How crazy is that? Panthers screw up not trade Burns last year. That's facts. Okay, I agreed that somebody asked me, who would I want, Burns or Young? I need the Jeopardy music, man. That's a good one. Okay. I'm going to take Chase Young. There's a few reasons that I would pick Chase over Burns. And it's not really based off production, because Chase has 5 sacks. I think Burns might have 4 or 5 as well. But I would take Chase over Burns. Young has higher peak, but he's more risky due to injuries. Okay, so can we listen? Yes, Brent, that's why. And it's not that I'm choosing the cheap option, because I look at Chase as the cheaper of the two. But I gotta say, y'all, that it's amazing to me just how we view how different we are. Like, we are different. The way we view players is completely different. Okay. So when it comes to people getting injured and having the injury prone, or he can't stay healthy, to me, it's different from having, like, if you're injury prone, that means you have a history of injury, right? And to me, all right, Chase Young doesn't have a history of injury. He had an ACL blowout and was off a year. He came back too early and was out again. And now that he's 100% healthy, he also had a stinger, which is, that happens. Anybody can get a stinger, and missed one game. In the sixth sense, okay, he has produced. So to label Chase Young injury prone, or he says he has an injury. Okay, does he have a history of injury? He has an injury in his history, if that makes sense. To me, he doesn't have a history of injury. He has an injury in his history. So for me, I'm taking Chase Young. Now, Brian Burns, on the other hand, he doesn't have any injury issues, right? But it's not about him costing too much. I'm looking at I need a pure pass rusher. I don't think Brian Burns is, but I will tell you this. I saw somebody who is a pure pass rusher drop back in coverage and pick off Matthew Stafford. So at this point, I'm taking the best player for my team. And if Brian Burns is the best player for the now and the future, give me Burns. If Chase Young is the best player, it doesn't matter. If Jonathan Allen is the best player, all I care about is that we get to the quarterback. That's the only thing that I care about. What's up, Fletch? What's going on? I like the Chase option better. Like you said, he could be a 9-game lease option. Okay, let me clarify that for everybody in the chat. I'm not trading for anyone for a 10-game lease or 9-game lease. I'm sorry, because it'll be 9 games at that point. I'm not trading anyone. This is not Everson Griffin 2.0. That's how you know Matt Patricia knew he was about to get fired. And the crazy thing about Matt Patricia getting fired, he got fired. I'm sorry, I said his name. The man who shall not be named. He got fired 2 weeks after he traded for Everson Griffin. It was like 2 or 3 weeks. Because remember, we were in a COVID protocol. That was COVID year. And Everson couldn't play game 1, which we traded. He couldn't play. Every person that came to the team, you had to take 1 game you couldn't play. So he had to sit. And in his time with the Detroit Lions, he got 2.5 sacks in 7 games. Injury issues and injury prone might be one major injury is confusing. Like what? To me, it's not. Okay, Derek says, I take Sweat over Young. He takes plays off, and I don't think he's good with the run. Sweat is good on both. I have noticed that, Derek, that he does. It does not seem like, but I've also seen Brian Burns take plays off as well. He won't go in there. If it's like a bunch of people stopping somebody, he won't go. If he's on the other side of the field, it seems like once Burns misses the sack, or he won't chase him down either. The only person I've ever really seen that is on a consistent level. Well, Hutch he don't take plays off. He just be tired. He be tired because he can't do it by himself. Is Aiden Hutchinson. He's the one. Aiden don't take no plays off. If he ain't running and chasing you down, it's because he tired. Monty and Gibbs are injury prone then. How is Gibbs injury prone, Ryan? How is he injury prone, bro? He had a hamstring. He's missed. Okay. We can't. Are we really doing this? Are we really calling Jahmyr Gibbs injury prone? Thoughts on Chase Young and Justin Simmons? What Justin Simmons from where? From Denver? Sweat would be my choice. No, you missed. Okay, Ryan. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, help me understand, bro. I think taking plays off and there is playing efficient. They lied Gibbs wasn't hurt. Okay, what's the conversation? Right now, 10:21, we're talking about, somebody asked me Chase or Burns, and I told them my answer. He is not. It was sarcasm. Oh, see, I can't. Ryan, you got to put sarcasm in the text, bro, because I can't tell. Gia says this is a must-win for the Detroit Lions. Yes, I agree. 1021 says both. Chase is much cheaper. Says, what's up, Dern? What's going on, man? Denver Justin Simmons. But he's a safety, right? I think we need cornerback more than safety. Whoever we trade for, it better be with an extension. Oh, listen, Ed, not happening. Brad Holmes is smarter than that. I guarantee you, he's not going to trade for anyone and this be their final year. So listen. This is our last show, second to last show by the trade deadline. What do y'all think is going to happen? This is where it starts to get good. I've been watching Twitter. Everybody's waiting. I think Brad makes a move, man. I think who's included in that package. I think any one of the Romeo brothers. I think Charles Harris, and I think James Houston. Oh, I said it, bro. James Houston could be part of a trade too, because it will be a defensive end that gets packaged. And I think it's going to be one of them 4 guys. Chase fits the timeline with his age and is a cheaper option. Fresh, I agree. I agree on both of those. I agree with them. But, I've been fighting about Brad Holmes shopping at the dollar store and Five Below. I don't think Chase Young is dollar store or Five Below. I think Chase Young is like Macy's. He's like Macy's. You know what I'm saying? Five Below was Charles Harris. I'm sorry, Charles. I'm sorry, man. That's Five Below to me. Chase Young to me is a little upper. If you still got Macy's, if they still, I wouldn't say J.C. Penney, but I think he'll a little above Sears, but not quite, Nordstrom, if you get what I'm saying. I think Brad makes some move for someone. We have an open roster spot. If we don't fill it, that will let you know. That's true. Also, Tom Kennedy. You know what, Derek, I believe you can. I believe you can trade a player. I think you can. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but he's eligible to return from IR, but the Detroit Lions cannot make him if they elevate him. And maybe that's why he hasn't been elevated. He got hurt on the 17th of September. He was eligible to return this week. He has not, because the Lions have six more players to bring up. I think 6 players to bring up. Maybe, and I'll tell you what, if I think about this, man, head coaches and general managers they're brilliant. The way they can quickly answer questions by not giving away too much. Dan Campbell said that it was either Charles Harris or Josh Pascal, and they had to choose between which one they played. So they made Charles Harris inactive. If Charles Harris is inactive this Monday, I think he's gone. Better than Goodwill Charles Harris. I'm also cool with getting some veteran known pass rushers. May not be in their prime anymore. Okay, let's talk about that. Okay. Listen, I don't remember you being in the show too many times, but can we let Justin Jackson go? He's gone. He retired. He doesn't want to play football anymore. We can't keep trying to bring these players back, just like Ndamukong Suh. He doesn't want to be here. Justin Jackson left this team. He's not coming back. I wish the Lions would use Stephen Gilmore. He could become like his brother with the experience. They can't trade an injured player because he wouldn't pass a physical for the new team. Okay, there you go. Just popped in and heard the question. Just an FYI, prepare yourself for the possibility of there being no moves. All right, let's do this. All right, Mr. Poole comes in here with the possibility, and it's a possibility I hit the lottery. You know I love you, Mr. Poole. This ain't towards you. So it's a possibility, but I have to play the lottery to hit it, right? I don't play, but a possibility there's no moves. This is the question, the 24, what do they call it? The question of the day, of the weekend. Sit on this. It's a possibility. Prepare ourselves for the possibility of no trades. Okay. Now we've already determined what side of the ball the trade needs to be on. We've already determined that it's probably the D line, whether it's DT, DE. We could use some secondary help as well, right? Brad Holmes he's not gone to the free agency well because it ain't nothing there. So the only way you're gonna bring somebody on your team is to trade for them. The Detroit Lions are 5-2 right now. Lead the NFC North by 2 games. They get a bye week after this. They can be 6-2. Your Detroit Lions could be 6-2 and in first place of the NFC by the time they play the Chargers. However, what if Brad Holmes doesn't make a move? What if he doesn't make a move to make this team better? That's a great question. Dern says, I'll be very upset. Mr. Poole says we are trading. Wynn says a pure pass rusher like Houston is our third grade need. Cornerback, receiver, pass rusher. Let's hear the Lamar jingle. No trades makes me think. What's up, B-Love? Says Brad thinks he has his team for the Super Bowl, but I don't think so. They need an edge at least with all the players injured. This is the first time fans have been speculating, and I'm 42 in my 42 years on our team. David says, I will be upset. Okay. I don't believe the Lions won't go for a trade. Just wouldn't make any sense, says Sherman. First Take said the NFC playoffs is going through Philly and that Philly is the best team right now. If they lose Monday, no trade happens. Okay. After the loss to Lamar Wilson, just wouldn't make sense to bring in the defensive help. Okay, Mr. Poole, so that's a great question. So I want you to tell me how you would feel. They're telling me in the comment section. In the comment section on this video, tell me how would you feel if Brad Holmes doesn't make a move at this point. Okay, I would be upset. I'd be upset because just like B Love said, that's telling us that he has his team. At the end of the day, what you and I feel doesn't matter. We're just fans who speculate, have our opinions, but Brad and Dan are in control of this team and they see what we need. I think our opinions matter, but they don't help make the decisions. Brad has already said he don't care what you or any other or any other draft guru or mock draft expert has to say. He's going to do what him and Dan feels is best for the team. But this is what we do know. Here are the facts. The facts are through 7 games, the Detroit Lions have 15 sacks. They rank almost bottom third in the league. They rank around 18 or 19 when it comes to sacks. They also, according to PFF, lead the league in pressures, which means that pressures are not equaling sacks. That's what that means. The Baltimore Ravens, who just kicked our behind, they lead the league with 29 sacks at this moment. They have almost twice as many as we do. In 5 games, we had 5 sacks. 5 games, 3 sacks. There is nobody on this team. James Houston, Charles Harris, Romeo Okwara. Our leading sacker has 4.5. Chase Young has 5. The next closest person to him has 2 sacks. Our secondary is made of glass, right? We're very thin back there, like a thin sheet of ice, and we don't have a pass rush to get to. And think about it. The pressures aren't doing anything. To a good quarterback, we're not doing anything. Jordan Love, not a good quarterback. Desmond Ridder, not a good quarterback. Bryce Young, we sacked him 1 time. If Brad Holmes doesn't make a move, I think we have every right to question him. I do. Because if you look at the depth on our roster, there's nobody that's going to play that's not playing now, except Broderick Martin. Broderick Martin is the only guy that's going to play that hasn't played yet. James Houston played in his 1 game. He didn't get a sack. In his 2nd game until he got hurt, he didn't get a sack. They was putting him back in coverage. So now, here we go. There's nobody that's going to come alive and come out of nowhere on this team. Romeo might get 1. Julian might get 1. He already got 1. I think they both have 1. Or maybe Romeo got his in the preseason. Is Broderick Martin going to get 1? Who else? If we look at our D, Benito Jones has 1. Isaiah Buggs has 1. Aleem McNeil is the person that has the second most sacks at 2 on our team. If Brad Holmes doesn't make a move, it's going to make you wonder, what is his grand vision for this year? Is it a playoff win? Is it to go deep? And I have to believe that Brad Holmes, that's not going to be enough for him. But if he doesn't make a move, what is that saying? Great question by Mr. Poole, or great statement by Mr. Poole. I've thought about that. I don't want to believe it because I can't. The holes on this team are too glaring for you to pass up. They're too much. So I will be disappointed, and we'll see how the season plays out. The Detroit Lions have a chance this year. I'm not saying sell the farm. You'll never hear me say that. They have a chance this year to go far. They really do. Right now, going into week 8, we are 2nd in the conference in the entire NFC. Do you know where we were this time last year? We had the 1st pick in the draft this time last year, and we are 1 game away from the 1st seed right now. This is who we play. We play our division 5 games out of our 10 games. I'm trying to go off the dome here. We've got the Denver Broncos, the Dallas Cowboys, the New Orleans Saints. We have the Las Vegas Raiders, and there's one more team that I passed that I can't think of right now outside of the 5 games in our division that we play. We have an opportunity to have double-digit wins and to go deep. The Chargers. Thank you, Fletch. The Chargers. Those are the 10 games we have left. In our division, they all currently have losing records. We're the only one with a winning record. You got 3-4, Minnesota Vikings. You got 2-4. Is it 2-4 or 2-5? Chicago Bears are 2-5, right? And then the Green Bay Packers, because they had a bye week, they're 2-4. We play them every game, and we're probably going to beat the Packers at home, right? The Packers are terrible. Vikings are a legitimate threat as far as, so Brad Holmes has a primo opportunity, double-digit wins, and we're not going to win games if we can't get to the quarterback, y'all. I'm sorry. We don't get to Desmond Ridder. Do we win that game? We don't get to Jordan Love. Do we win the game? Look what getting to the quarterback meant for our team. When we've sacked the quarterback, at least 3 times we've won the game. Matter of fact, multiple times probably. So Brad, man, got to do something. I would be disappointed if he doesn't make a move. Way to end the show, Mr. Poole. I love it, bro. 2014 Lions had a total of 42 sacks. That is ridiculous. That's insane. Last year, we had 38. And our defense was supposed to be all that in 2014. The Philadelphia Eagles had 70 sacks. 70 sacks. Okay, so let's divide. Okay, so 17, 34, 68. Is that right? No way. No way. So you mean to tell me that the Philadelphia Eagles in 2022, if my math is correct, averaged 4 sacks a game? Get up out of here. Okay, where are the Detroit Lions right now? We have 15 sacks in 7 games. 15 sacks in 7 games. That's insane. Okay, so we have 15 sacks in 7 games. So that's 2. That's like 2.1, somewhere around there. See the difference? So we're averaging 2 point something sacks per game. Braylon says we're sweeping the Vikings and Bears and Packers this season. Well, that would be nice. If we did that, that guarantees us 10 wins. Yep. The best we could be right now would be 15-2. The way that we started the season, the strength of our competition right now, and the fact that we beat the Kansas City Chiefs to start the year. Okay, because I was going to say, if you would have asked me when the season started, and you would have said, Derek, what would be a successful season to you? I would have said over 9 wins, a division title, and a playoff win. Right this season, I'm going to say you have to be between 11-6 and 13-4. You have to win the division, and you have to win a playoff game. You do those 3 things, not 2 out of the 3, not 1 of the 3. You do those three things, it's a successful season. But I'm saying, and this will be our last part of the show, I'm saying, why do that? Why settle for that when you have an opportunity to go further, right? Let me just say this. Fletch says this is an opportunity to really improve if we can get a DE. We talked about the Philadelphia Eagles schedule. It ain't easy. It's not easy. They got a rough, they played the Miami Dolphins, they won that game. I thought the Miami Dolphins had a good chance to beat them. But they also have, I think they played Dallas twice. They got some legit competition. But maybe that competition will start falling off because I think they played the Niners too. I'm not sure. But we went over last week about they got like a really tough gauntlet. That's what they had going in. And I think it started with Miami. I think it started with Miami because they played Miami. They won this year. This week, they played the Washington Commanders. And then they got a tough stretch of like 5 games that could go either way, really. And Philly has shown that they can be beat. So it's possible we don't get the number 1 seed, but I saw a playoff picture right now. You know what team we would host right now at the number 2 seed? The Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons is who we would host at home. That would be round 1. Now, I'm not so nervous to go into Levi and play them. But if we're the 2nd seed, they got to come play us. And literally, our only road game to the Super Bowl would be going to play the number 1 seed. And that, to me, ladies and gentlemen, as we end the show, is why Brad Holmes has to make a move. He has to make a move. It has to be somebody on the defensive line. I will settle for 2 mid-tier players or 1 top-tier player. So if you're going to get a mid-tier player because you need a cornerback and you get a mid-tier, you get like somebody, because there's somebody on the Eagles. There's somebody on, I saw it today. Is it not Derek Barnett? It's some, wait, hold on. It's somebody that's not getting played. Is it on the Eagles that he's not seeing a lot of time? It's a defensive end. I just saw it before we got on. Yeah, Fletch, that's a good point as well. Hold on, let me look through my Twitter real quick because I'm not going to find it. But dang, man, we didn't get a chance to talk about Mike Evans. I can't remember who it was. If they're not playing, no, Fletch. It's a guy he's not playing because he fell on a depth chart. That's what that is. Okay, this team has a realistic outside chance at the Super Bowl. Big trade would increase legal odds, but if we lose Goff, Brown, Jackson, or Sewell because of it, it's much. Yeah, I don't know. Goff let the dude think they better. Okay. Man, okay, so just so you know, bro, I've been seeing your comments. And I've been purposely not reading them. That's it. I'm not dealing with you today or nobody. I'm just sad that you spent an hour of your life in this chat section bashing Goff. Like, what are you doing with your life? I've seen every comment you put. And I don't know why. Listen, the best way, ladies and gentlemen, to get rid of a troll is to ignore them. They are parasites. They are leeches. They thrive off getting under your skin. When they get under my skin, it's because I let them. It's part of the show. I'm an entertainer. This is not, y'all don't watch me for fun. Y'all watch me because y'all like everything about it. And some of you may not like it, but I entertain. YouTube, what keeps you back is you being entertained, right? So I'm going to give you a show. I'm not being fake, but sometimes I turn it up a little bit. That's part of the show. But the best way to get rid of a troll is to ignore them. They will die out. Trust me, they feed off of attention. So just don't pay them any attention. Ignore trolls. Yeah, absolutely. And if you hide them or whatever, you did the right thing, Mr. Poole. But if you do that, then they come back. This guy came back on another account. They're sick in the head. There's some trolls are sick in the head. I always envision a troll as somebody who's in the basement, right? And I'm in the basement, but they're in the basement. All the lights are off. They're sitting in front of their computer. The only light that is illuminating them is the light of their computer. They probably have about 25 cats. And they're the type, when they go out in public, they got cat hair all over their clothes. Dog hair, cat hair, they smell like the inside of an animal shelter. That I've always thought of a troll to look that way. So maybe he does. I'm not sure. But listen, you guys have been awesome. I appreciate y'all. At the end of the day, J-Mo has to shut everybody up. The Lions have an opportunity to do something this year. They do. And if they blow the trade deadline, I will be surprised. Okay, here's what I'll say. If the Lions don't make a move by the trade deadline, like very close to what David said, a Super Bowl appearance is less likely. I don't know if we can beat the Eagles and we can't get to Jalen Hurts. I just don't. I hate everything about their game. I hate it. I hate their game. And I think he gets rid of the ball so fast. They do that same stupid option pass over and over and over. I just don't know if we have what it takes with this current team. I think we can get to the playoffs. I think we can win a division. I think we can win a playoff game. But I think that the odds of the Super Bowl, or even I think we end at the division unless we host. If we host, because the problem is we would host, if we're the number 2 seed, we would host the higher of the remaining seeds, which means we're probably going to play seed 3. So at this point, we're playing the winner of what? We lead the North, then the Falcons lead the South, right? And the 49ers lead the West, and they're in the 3rd spot. So we would host the San Francisco 49ers. That right there would be something. And then we would go play Philly. Can y'all believe it's week 8 and we're talking about playoffs? That's crazy, man. When last year, y'all was talking about Jalen Carter and not winning another game. So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Shout out to the trolls. You kept the engagement going. I appreciate that. Got me more AdSense. I appreciate that. Even if you voted down, I appreciate that as well. Every engagement is a step in the right direction. You guys have a great weekend, and I will see you Monday where we'll talk about the Raiders versus the Lions. Peace.